All right, everybody, get your poodle skirts and your saddle shoes. It's time to go back to the hop. This is going to be my update for the At the Hop Project Pan. And before I get started, I'm going to ask you to do all of the things. You know what they are. So here's what we got going on. At the Hop Project Pan was created by Misty. Now, I love Misty. Misty came up with 50 prompts with a little help from Jessica Lee from the 50s and 60s, kind of that doo-wop era. She decided to do this in collaboration with the Fantastic Ladies group on Facebook. So I'm going to have Misty's channel linked down below. I will have the Fantastic Ladies linked down below. Everything else you need to know. The hashtag for social media is At the Hop Project Pan. The whole title there. So Misty does things where she has an item for every prompt in a project when she takes on a project. So she left this up to us how we wanted to do it. We can put in as many or as few as we want. We can do it roulette. We can do whatever. We can set our own goals, all of the good things, and we can do monthly or bi-monthly updates. Now, she started this November 25th of 2022, but it's going to end November 24th of 2023. So that's where we're at, which means it's coming up somewhat quickly. So I'm going to run you through, this is also a re-record, by the way, because I had an audio issue. So I had to slap some face on and come back and re-record this. So I do have everything weighed out, but my original recording was yesterday, so things might have been used like once or twice since then, but not a huge amount. So things are pretty accurate. We're just going to go with that. All right, the first thing that I have in is for the pompadour, so it's a hair care item. Now with this, it is the Sexy Hair Style Curling Cream, which is my holy grail of curling creams. I actually grabbed one of these empty rollers and weighed it out because last time I took this thing apart to weigh it, I almost couldn't get it back in there, and there's very little left, but not quite enough to cut open yet. So taking away the weight of the roller, we are at 42.9 grams from 64 last month. Now, we're going to finish that one way or another. We just don't know exactly when, if I have to drag this with me or if you're just going to get a picture of it for the next update. I'm not sure yet. All right, then we have Sleeping Beauty. So that is a lip product. For that, I brought in what I got as a trial size, basically, of this Laura Mercier Velour Extreme Matte Lipstick. This is in the shade Fresh. This doesn't have a ton of product left. I mean, it's got some. It's got a decent amount. It's, usable. I'll still get plenty of usage out of it is what I'm trying to say. But that is the color of this. This is into finish. And if you can see, if it focuses, we have a new line. So the last line was from July and this one's from September. It's going down very slowly, and it's actually going down a little bit at an angle, which just is the way that I put on lipstick, apparently. I didn't realize I was doing that. Okay, so then we have 1955 Bel Air. So this is a product you consider a classic or the oldest in your collection. For that, I brought in this incredibly old cleanser from Mary Kay. This is the Gentle Cleansing Cream. This is the first step of the original classic line from 80 bajillion years ago. Now, I can see through it, and I'm about here, but there's a big air bubble in this thing. So we went from 90.3 grams to 79.6 grams. I really would like to get this one finished off. I don't know if I have an open one in Arizona or not, but this is so low that I think I can get that one. I think I can get it completed before I go. That's the plan. Oh, geez. Yeah, well, okay. We're rolling with it. Doesn't matter how bad I look. All right. So then we have 1955 Lincoln Continental. So a product in for the long haul. For me, a long haul product is going to be a hairspray. So this is the Suave Max Hold. It is the level 8. It says it there, but it's kind of hard to see with the silver. I can't see through this bottle exactly, but I know I'm somewhere down in here. I don't use tons of hairspray. I do use hairspray, mostly just in here. So this went from 127.2 grams last month to 88.2 grams this month. And I think I might be just a touch off because I think I poured a little bit of this into my travel bottle to take with me on vacation. So that may be inaccurate, but basically I'm just going to use this till I leave. This isn't something I'm going to carry with me. So there you have it. I'll maybe take an updated weight shortly before I go because I'm filming a little bit early. Thank goodness, since I had an issue. Okay, so then Calendar Girl, an item nearing or has expired in your collection. So old. So old. This is the, technically the third step, I believe, of the original Mary Kay Classic line. Because I think it was cleanser, exfoliator, then toner. Anyway, this is the, what is this called? Hydrating freshener. It's a toner. That's what I've always called it. So you can see where my lines, where I started, where we were, where we are now. We're just a touch under that. Like I said, I did this yesterday originally, had to redo it. So yeah, I didn't realize that I didn't have audio. So a little bit rushed, a little bit last minute, but I think I know what I'm talking about. Huh, as much as I ever do. Crazy train. Okay, so this is now 77.5 grams. It was 95.3. So this is going down fairly consistently. This will be to the point where there'll be so little left. I will take it with me because we're just going to finish it off. It just needs to be done, unfortunately, because of the age of it. All right, then Rebel Without a Cause is my next one. And this is a product the beauty community loved, but you didn't. This was a favorite from Emily Noel. And that's what encouraged me to purchase it. And it's the ABH eye primer. Now, I don't have a lot of ABH stuff. I have very little ABH stuff. I'm just not a huge fan in general. This is fine. Yes, it's a fine eye primer. It works fine. Could I say fine anymore? It's like not the cat's meow. It's not the cat's pajamas. It's not even anything to write home about. I have no idea how many more stupid phrases I could come up with. It's just okay. I don't love it. We went from 11 grams last month to 10.7 when I weighed it yesterday. I have used it since then, but that's what we're going with. My scale doesn't go that detailed anyway. All right, then McDonald's, an item you use up or go through quickly. Generally, and this makes me look like a liar, but this is the Urban Decay All-Nighter Setting Spray. This is the 1 ounce travel size. And now normally a 1 ounce I will go through very quickly. I go through a lot of sprays. So this went from 44.3 grams last month to 38.1 this month. I did take it with me on vacation, but I'm also working on a 4 ounce, I think it is, the full size, at the same time. So they're both in my bathroom right now. This will get finished up, but I kind of am switching back and forth between the two as to which one I grab randomly. Okay, then I did the silly thing where a prompt came up and then I brought everything in the world else in with it. Okay, these aren't always all in order, so you just got to kind of bear with me. All right, so the first thing that I saw that came up was Mickey Mouse Club. And now normally this is supposed to be an item a friend sent you or a friend is panning. Instead, I grabbed my Mickey Mouse House of Sillage. Okay, without the glare. I'm trying to get it so you can see there, the black and the silver, so you can see the outline. This is the blush and highlighter duo. So the blush is called Pink Bow, and it's got the cute little Mickey Mouse imprint. Can you see him in the corner? Other corner. That corner. And then the highlighter is Joyful. I actually am wearing both of them on my face today. They're very pale, so they don't really show up when I do swatches on my head. And I don't know why I look so ghostly right now. Even I realize that I look much more pale than normal, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. I'm a little tired too. But anyway, I brought the blush and highlighter in as a 3-use each because I use them together. I have gotten 2 of my 3 uses. So we'll get one more before I go. I'm not bringing this with me. I will get my uses on these things. So then I brought in Eartha Kitt, Santa Baby, an item you got as a gift or the most expensive in your collection. For that, I brought in the House of Sillage Mickey Mouse collection, Mickey and Minnie. This one is the lip gloss. And I put this in for 5 uses. I've gotten 1. I'm not good with glosses. I need to step it up a little on that one. All right, then at the Hop, for which this project was named, we have got an item you use for a night out, and I actually have it on today. Now, let's see if I can get these right because I do them wrong most of the time. So I brought in the same collection. This is the red lipstick. Playful Red is the name. Hi, Luce. And there you can see it compared to the other one, although there, now my swatch is a little more even. All right, so I brought this in for 3 days of use, and I have gotten one. You're seeing it. I know. And then for Marilyn Monroe, a product that makes you feel glamorous. I love this. So I didn't bring the case for the lipsticks. It has the same thing where it has Minnie on one side, has Mickey on the other, and these pop out. They just stick right into the case so that they're reusable cases. But now for Marilyn Monroe, I brought in Playful Nude. And this one, I am going with glamorous because it is a great nude on me. It's creamy, smooth, lovely. So it's not a matte, but it's not a super quick wearing. Well, it's not my usual shine or shimmer type of lipstick. I would say it's probably more an in-between, like maybe a satin lipstick. And I absolutely love it. I have gotten 1 day's use on that. Few applications, but I did enjoy that, and I will get my other couple days in there. So then I brought in Roy Orbison's Only the Lonely. I love Roy Orbison. And for that, it's a product you only have one of in your collection. So we brought in the Mickey Mouse part of the collection. Minnie Mouse, not Mickey, Minnie. And that is the eyeshadow. All right, so there you can see the shades. I'm not going to swatch. I'm tired. I don't know if I swatched last time. I'll show them to you at another point. But anyway, so I brought this in for 3 looks because essentially you can only kind of get the same look with the shades. It's not super varied. And then I actually added a couple other things to it because it's a really subtle thing, so it doesn't show up well on camera for me. But I have gotten 2 looks out of that. Then we've got A Teenager in Love, a product you used or loved in your teens. For me, I am a drugstore blush girl, or I always was. So I brought in the CoverGirl Cheekers blush because I know that CoverGirl was around when I was in high school. And this is in 108 Pink Candy. This is another thing that doesn't show up well on me with swatches, you guys, but it is the super light. It's kind of the very budget beauty dupe for the Dior, whatever the pink one is, the Dior blush, backstage blush, whatever it is. This is the really good budget version. So I brought this in, for 5 uses. I have gotten 1 so far, but we like those cotton candy pinks. All right, then we have got Cinderella. So for that, it's a sparkly or glittery product. I had brought in one of my Nomad singles. Okay, when I get this just right in the lighting, you can see that it's got all of the little specks, the little shiny specks, and you can see how shiny that is anyway, just from flipping it. This is from the Verona palette, the Love and Death one, and this is Romeo. And, okay, I wasn't going to do this, but do you see that? It looks kind of reddish, but once you get it out on your eyes and get it diffused, it's pink. It's pink, 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 you guys. It is just lovely. I have 4 out of my 5 I actually could have put that on today. I have 4 out of my 5 uses on that, so we'll save that last use for another day. All right, then Misty by Johnny Mathis. I'm so glad she put this in. This is so cool. So she decided this is going to be a bold lip or eye because Misty likes her colors. She likes the bold. She's not afraid of color. Let me tell you. All right, so for that, I brought in the Nomad single in Violet Saberwing, and this is from the Monteverde Cloud Forest palette, and I brought this in for 5 uses. I have got 4. That is a bold purple, you guys, and I don't know if it shows up as purple for what you see as, it almost looks bluish, but it's purple, very purple. So 1 more use on that, and then that one will be done also. Okay, so since I had to go, I figured I would grab this anyway so I could show you. Well, you don't need this whole palette. This is Moore's. This is the one that I had in for Aluminum Christmas Tree. This is a topper shade and is intended to be wet. So you see that shiny kind of wet look. A little bit gold, very, very sparkly. Well, hard to see on the hand. But that one actually was the one that I had completed my goal on, so that is done. Then there were some other things that I had in here that I had forgotten. So we are no longer in any kind of order at all. Treasure Island. An item that is a treasure in your collection. So it could be a favorite item or it could be an item that you hoard and don't use. For me, I brought in the big one of the Elemis Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm. Now, I used 101.3 grams of product in this. It is done. It is empty. It is darn near licked out. I didn't lick it out. I did scrape it with my finger, but I didn't lick it out. This is my absolute all-time favorite cleansing balm. Unfortunately, it is expensive, but it is great. All right, then the next thing, yeah, I got a mess. The next thing that I have is Unforgettable, a favorite product in your collection. My absolute favorite scent for years has been Prada's Candy, and this Scentbird tube had this much left in it. I did finish it off, so this goes into the empties and is a completed prompt. All right, then we have got Return to Sender, which is a product you would return or declutter. It's going to be a lip gloss, okay? You know that's not my jam. And then I've got Peter Pan, an item in childlike or child theme packaging. So I brought in this. This is the Scooby-Doo Glam Light Duo. And so, wow, they're hard to get out of there. All right, the lip gloss for Return to Sender. And it's not pink. It's this kind of goldish, clearish color up at the top. Kind of just leaves a lot of sparkle, which isn't completely my jam. I'm not fond of lip gloss, and I don't like having glitter left over after the gloss is gone. Not my thing. That one's not as bad. I've had worse ones, but it's not my favorite. And then there's Daphne. That's the lipstick that I brought in for Peter Pan. Okay, now I'm showing you, look at that pink. This is a good color for me. I'm actually kind of impressed with this. Okay, let's get her straight there. So these each had 5 days of use, and I hit my goal on both of those. That's why they are rolling out, and that's why they're back in their packaging. And the packaging is just really easy to find and see and know what it is. The Thelma one is orange, Daphne's pink. So it's easy to keep it in the package for me in my drawer because then I know right what it is. All right, so those are all the things that I had finished off. I think we're back in order now. I don't know. I'm probably forgetting other things. If I do, I'll pop pictures in because I don't know what I'm forgetting. But what I am going to do is I am going to bring in just a couple of things, okay, because of the travel issue. So I still had, I think I still have 10 prompts left, which there's not a lot of time for this. But I'm going to just bring in 3 this month, and then we'll get the other 7 in when I'm in Arizona, just because that will make things easier. So I'm bringing in La Bamba, so a Latin-owned brand. For that, I'm actually bringing in this. This is from Necromancy Cosmetica. Is that right side up? It's hard to read. It is a palette. It is called A Gothic Romance. And this is one of those that has the adorable little magnetic mirror that comes off. This palette is gorgeous. And it is a book. Okay. So that's what the back looks like when it's unfolded. It's gorgeous. And then there are 8 shades in this palette. So I'm just going to do this as a no pan left behind because that'll be nice and quick and easy, and I can get that accomplished for you guys. I will try and remember to take pictures when I use this, but I figured that's a pretty workable goal for me. So that's what that's coming in for. And then we have got, man, I've got a mess. We have got Motown, so a black-owned beauty brand. I decided I want to bring back in Pat McGrath. So for this, it is the Lip Fetish Divina Lip Shine. I've got Nude Venus, which is $5.91. Yes. So it is your standard pink Pat McGrath packaging. This is the very balm-like one. In fact, I think the first time I had one of these, it actually came in a lip balm kit from Sephora, like a favorite balm thing or something. And I liked this. I actually have used one completely and bought another one because I really enjoy it. So my goal with this is just 10 applications. I may up that. We'll see. But for right now, I don't know why I'm putting it back in the package, but I am. Anyway, so that's coming in for Motown. And then Dorothy Dandridge. This is an award-winning item, or one that should be. So I looked this up because I wanted to see, because I had heard some buzz about this, and then I got it in a luxury kit. or in something. I didn't go out and purchase this specifically. This is the Dior Lip Glow Oil, and mine is in 006 Berry. So what I found is I found a Cosmo article. I just looked up like award-winning lip oils, basically, because I figured this might be on there. And Cosmo has this listed as the best luxury lip oil on their list of lip oils. So I figured, I would bring this, and this has got a really nice big fat doe foot, and these are really expensive. So I really do want to get some use out of this since it's a bougie brand. It does have a tint. It's not super deep, but it does have a tint, so I could wear this as a like no makeup thing too. Maybe I'll throw it in for one of those prompts at some point. But I have this in for 20 applications because I figured that's a good solid number for lip oil that I can do more easily than I can do other kinds of things. So that's what we've got going on. Okay. Okay, everybody, I am popping back in from editing to redo the music moment for you because I have managed to screw this all up. So what we are going to do for the music moment is a song called Maybe. This song originally was recorded and released by a band called the Chanterelles. Now, the one I'm going to bring you is the one by the Shangri-Las, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the Chanterelles version simply because, to an extent, it is kind of interesting. Well, at least for me. You guys know what I'm like. If I can get back to it, I will tell you all about it. So the original songwriting or authorship credit went to the owner of End Records, a man by the name of George Goldner, and someone named Casey. Don't know who that is. Now, it was later transferred as a co-writing credit to Richard Barrett. Richard Barrett was a member of the Chanterelles. There is speculation, and it is probably safe to assume, that the lead singer, Arlene Smith, was an uncredited co-writer of this song also. Simply because when you look at the song and you hear it, it is from the female perspective, and it is about a lost love. So it is like, if I did this, or if I tried this, maybe you'd come back to me. It's heartbreaking because the only way that love returns is in dreams. So there's a melancholy to the song, but that not really, I mean, we'll get more into that kind of stuff later. But the song was recorded by the Chanterelles on October 16th of 1957. It's a doo-wop song. It was released in December of that year. It did hit charts for them. It hit number 2 on the Billboard R&B and hit number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, the Shangri-Las released this as a single in December of 1964. I do not know if it charted for them or where it charted or anything like that. I don't have that information. The B-side on it was Shout. It came off of their Leader of the Pack album. Now, let's talk a little bit about the band. The Shangri-Las were 4 young ladies. The band consisted, and I hesitate to say band because none of them were musicians. They were vocalists, and there is not an actual band listed for them. This is one of the few where we do not have members coming in and out all the time. The members of the Shangri-Las were Elizabeth Weiss, who went by Betty. She was the eldest. Mary Weiss, her younger sister by 2 years, and then a set of twins. Marguerite, who went by Marge or Margie, and Marianne Ganser. Now, these girls went to high school together. They formed this band in 1963. They were together until 1968. But there's some ins and outs with the ladies also. When they started this, they got signed in 64, and they were signed to, I think, Redbird Records. Redbird. And at that point, Mary was 15, Betty was 17, and the twins were 16. So they were still in school, and they had to get like parental permission and all of that to leave when they started being requested for interviews and publicity and touring and all that other kind of stuff. But when they originally formed in high school, they didn't have a name. They were performing at like talent shows and hops and just local venues. They ended up taking the name from a restaurant from their Queens neighborhood that was named Shangri-La. That's where the name of the band came from, was actually a restaurant in the neighborhood. Now, one of the things that is significant about the Shangri-Las is their image and their reputation. They became known as the tough girls or the bad girls of the girl groups. Is some of that founded? Possibly. Is some of it just folklore? Probably. Like I said, they were from Queens, so they did have a little bit of that street smart and that street attitude. They had some swagger to them, okay? They didn't come across as having just been through like charm school and debutante training, which a lot of the other girl groups at that point did. Now, when you see some pictures, which I'll be inserting, they do have like matching outfits. They were very coordinated. It wasn't that part that didn't fit in. It was kind of like the rest of their image. Now, a lot of the image came from a gimmick. They are most well known for their song Leader of the Pack. That is such a unique and great song. I'm actually going to link a version of that down there below too, because the videos for this kind of give you an idea of where this come from. So with that song in particular, you've got a call and response. You've got the whole gimmick of the leader of the pack being the motorcycle club gang, whatever, and the girl who falls for him. So it's kind of not necessarily like the good girl falling for the bad boy, but kind of like that little bit of a tougher girl type of relationship. There's a great call and response. So that is significant musically, because call and response becomes a big thing a lot later with a lot of other musicians, that even still today that happens. One of the odd things about this song in particular is that it is considered a death disc, meaning that it deals with the topic of someone dying. So, not to be triggering or anything like that. That's just really what they were called. So you've got a few other ones too. There's Tell Laura I Love Her. Crap, I can't think of what the other ones are. Oh shoot. Okay, Dead Man's Curve, Last Kiss, Teen Angel. Things like that. Those were all a specific type of song that became known by that title. All right. Now, the weird thing is they recorded Leader of the Pack first, but then the song that I think got released first was Remember, which is Walking in the Sand, which has been covered by several people throughout the years. And then Great Big Kiss is all I can think of. And I think it's Give Him a Kiss or Give Him a Great Big Kiss is a song that has got such a memorable intro to it that it became something that was very influential, often copied, parodied, or paid homage to by many, many other artists, particularly starting in the punk movement, but then moving on. So, like I said, the girls were teenagers. They were performing without a name. They get signed. They take the name the Shangri-Las. They have these hits. Some things are going on here. Now, like I said, it was only ever the four ladies that were considered part of the band. And Betty, being the oldest, actually was the lead singer for the song Maybe, which is kind of interesting because I've actually seen performances of Mary doing it. But she also was the lead on Simon Says, which was, I think, their first recording from December of '63. So this was before they were with Red Label. Now, a lot of times with what you'll see Mary singing the lead. Betty left for a little while in '64 because she had a baby. I do not know much about that situation. There's some reference to the fact that the child was she had help from her brother George raising the child. Now, I would assume then, because Mary and Betty are sisters, that means that George was also Mary's sister. Just saying. Now, when we are looking at the Gansers, they also were kind of in and out. And this gets a little bit confusing. So, Mary Ann left at one point, or Marge had left, And then she came back when Mary Ann left. Oh, the twins kind of, one of them left for a little while, but then the other one came back and the first one left. There are some things out there. I think Leader of the Pack actually was recorded with all four of them, even though when they were doing a lot of the promoting and touring at that point, Betty was on hiatus. And she did come back later. And then the twins, there was usually just one of them. I've got some photos that hopefully I'm popping up where you're seeing the girls together in different groupings as they carried on with the band. Now, they were incredibly popular. They were touring. They had a lot of hits. They had tons of singles. They were very, very well known, UK, US, all over. They ended up having a couple of non-performing releases on Redbird. So I think that happened around like 66. They also weren't getting royalties. The band officially disbanded in 68, but there was a lot of litigation stuff that was going on. So they had many opportunities and were invited to perform throughout the 70s. They very, very rarely did. They would occasionally perform live, but they didn't technically reunite. Then they did do a CBGB's thing live. They did reunite in, I want to say like around 77, I think. It gets confusing. But there's a point where three of them get back together and they spend a year in New York and they were doing some recording, but they were never satisfied with it. So that album never got released. The rights to all of that recording is owned by Warner Brothers. I don't know that it's ever been released. I'm not entirely certain. Now, there are only two official studio albums. Leader of the Pack, which was named after the single, and then the Shangri-La's 65, which came out then in 1965. So they really only have those two albums, and they were both released in 65. Kind of interesting. Like I said, there are a lot of compilation albums. There are a lot of greatest hits things that have come out. They did get back together. Part of the reason they got back together to try this again was because there was a UK re-release of one of the albums, and it was so well received, and they ended up charting again with some of the songs on it. That's why they got back together. Now, as far as the Reputation thing, this is actually kind of interesting. So, obviously, they were street smart, but that Leader of the Pack thing, that kind of bad girl image, all of that stuff, the fans ate that up in the 60s. Now, some of it, yeah, okay, there's a little bit of truth to it, most likely, but some of it is just legend and folklore. I don't know how much truth there is to any of it. The best story that I have found out there is the story that the FBI was actually interested in Mary at one point because she had transported a firearm across state lines. So the story goes, the way she told it, was that they were on tour. Someone tried to break into the hotel room. So in response then, to protect herself, she went out and got a pistol and brought that on tour, hence crossing state lines. I don't know if it's true. Like I said, that was the story she told, and the fans loved all of this. They really, really bought into it, and so the girls promoted it. The advantage to them was that it kept them from being hit on, basically, by musicians, by other artists, by other people on tours, by, in general, people that they didn't want any unwanted advances, and so they played into that image for that reason. Now, of the four ladies, the only one who had any children was Betty. Mary Ann ended up having some addiction issues, which did cause her to pass away in 1968 at the age of 22, unfortunately. There were false reports about the cause of her death that were refuted. She did not have a seizure disorder causing her death, and she did not die of encephalitis. Marge, her sister, who often was the more outspoken and kind of the front person and the spokesperson for the band, although she didn't sing lead on a lot. While Betty did quite a few songs, Mary actually kind of became the lead singer, although Marge did some lead vocals on some songs too. Anyway, Marge ended up passing away of breast cancer at the age of 48. Now, both Mary and Betty are still alive as far as I'm aware. I have no idea what Betty is doing. But Mary did record an album in 2007. I believe the name of it is Dangerous Games. She did it with a band that is a garage rock band backing her. And if I can get to it, I will tell you the name of it because my brain is not working and I can't remember anymore. Her album was with Norton Records, and really seriously, it is called Dangerous Game. I have not heard it. The Raining Sound is the band that backed her. I haven't heard anything about it, but I will be checking it out. She did tour in support of this in the U.S., Spain, and France. All right, now, I'm not sure if there's anything else that I'm supposed to be telling you about these ladies. So I'm going to cut it off for here because I have tried so many times to record this. Thank you for giving me some of your time and letting me talk about the Shangri-Las. I do appreciate it. I will have some stuff linked in the description box for your viewing and listening pleasure. And until next time, I got to stop my dogs from barking. See ya. Bye.